Hey there everybody, I hope you're all staying well. We are trying to do our damnedest to do so as well. Troubling times, as we all know, but we're doing what we can. So today's recipe is how to make a bechamel sauce, or bechamel, depending on how I pronounce it, because I never seem to get it right. But we're making a bechamel sauce. This one's going in my lasagna, so there'll be no wee taste test at the end, unfortunately. But it is lovely. It's also dead easy to make. You can use a white sauce out of a jar if you want for lasagna, but this is gorgeous. It's not difficult, it's cheap, it saves you some shekels. Why not do it? So let's crack on. So first up we want to measure out 600 millilitres of milk. Now at the time here I'm using dairy, but I have since switched to vegan nut milk. The type you need to use is the ones that need to stay refrigerated all the time. The stuff that can be bought off the shelf, not so good. The refrigerated, perfect. And if, like most of us, you've got a set of 4 pans, you're going to add your nut milk to your second smallest pan. Your very small saucepan is generally, I find, too small, so you're adding to what would be my second smallest. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. Doesn't need to be quite level, but close to level. 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. And follow that up with your onion. Now quarters is fine, or this sort of level of rough chop at the very most is what you need to go. So anywhere between quarters and what you see here is fine for the onion. And then it's 2 tablespoons of dried parsley. Fresh stuff is fine if you grow your fresh stuff, but I like using the dried. It's easy to store and keep. And lastly, we're going to add 2 bay leaves. And from here, what we're going to do is give it a stir, bring it to the boil, or just under the boil, somewhere about 92 to 95 degrees Celsius. So you'll see the steam rising, but not quite at a rolling boil. Then once that's happened, set it aside for 20 minutes. Then we're going to strain it through a sieve, as we see here, and into a jug. And then we'll use that up next. And now in a slightly larger pan than the one we've just used, we're going to take 30 grams of vegan butter. Now it needs to be the actual proper vegan butter, not a vegan spread margarine, but an actual proper butter, or dairy butter if you so choose. And we're going to melt that in a pan. And to our melted butter, we're going to add 30 grams of plain flour, and we're going to cook that for 1 to 2 minutes to create a pale roux. Then in small amounts we're going to take a whisk and we're going to add our warmed milk and just mix it in till we get a nice smooth paste, and then add a little more. And we'll just keep repeating that till all the milk has been added. But make sure you get a nice stiff whisk, give it a good mix till it's all smooth, no lumps, repeat. And rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat until we're all the way there. Once it's all whisked in, we should have a lovely, smooth and glossy bechamel sauce, just as you see here. Lift up your spoon. On the back of the spoon, again, you'll see the smoothness, the glossiness to it. It's exactly what we want. You've done that, you've got the perfect bechamel sauce.